Hi, this is Simon Candy from Acoustic Guitar Lessons Online.net, and in today's video you're going to learn the basics needed to start jamming on guitar. Now, jamming is one of the greatest things you can do with your guitar playing. It's a lot of fun, but it also helps you progress a lot faster. There are so many benefits you'll get from jamming. And the thing is, it's never too early or too late to start jamming. Whatever level you're at, you're good to jam, particularly if you can do some of these things that we covered today. In this lesson, I run you through the basics needed to get started jamming on guitar and what you need to do to acquire them. So we're going to look at chords, strumming, reading charts, keeping time, and soloing. So let's get to it. So chords would be the first thing. If you can play some just basic chords, then you're going to be well equipped to jam. And by basic chords, I'm talking about open chords. So there's, your standard open chords. You can find these online anywhere, but what come to mind for me would be like a C chord. Can you play a D chord? Can you play an A minor chord? An A major chord? Can you play an E minor chord? An E major chord? Maybe a B7 chord. If you're doing a bit of blues jamming, then seventh chords are good. You can play an A7 chord. You could play a D7 chord. You've got the G chord, of course. Can't believe I didn't think of the G chord. I don't think I played that yet. The keys of G and C and A and E will be very common if you're playing sort of, mainstream sort of rock and, country and blues and that sort of stuff. Bar chords. Now, I wouldn't say it's absolutely essential to know bar chords to jam, because you can use a capo if you're familiar with a capo. You don't want to use the capo as a crutch so much to avoid bar chords altogether, but it can get you playing songs with bar chords much sooner. Okay, so you can do that, but to have some bar chords down, of course, is going to help. And I would just look at the root 5 and root 6. So you've got like this shape here, which is a root 6 bar chord, and you've got a root 6, that's a major, and this is a root 6 minor bar chord. And if you know the note names along the bottom string, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and you've got the sharps and flats down in between, then you'll be able to find those chords. And then you can play root 5 chords. You've got your major root 5 chord and your minor root 5 chord shape, and they extend from the root note on the 5th string. So, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and the sharps and flats in between will help you find those. So you don't have to know them off by heart. When you're jamming, you learn a lot of this stuff sort of as you go too. So just dive in, even if you don't feel prepared, even if you don't know all the chords, even the chords I'm showing you now, I'd still jam, because you're going to benefit no matter what. So you got some chords, but what about once you've got the chords formed? Strumming, right? We're going to be able to strum, but we don't need to have all the strumming patterns down. If you can play chords and you can strum the chord once and let it ring through, and you can get to the next chord pretty well in time and then strum it in time, and then, because you're only strumming once on the chord, you give yourself the whole duration of that chord to get to the next one to strum it. If you can do that and keep time, you're good to go. But again, even if you can't do it perfectly, one of the best ways you'll get good at doing that is by jamming. So I don't want you to, not jam because you can't do that yet. But you could practice along with songs at home and just strum the G with the G chord in the song. And while they're doing all the strumming, you can go and, get ready for the next chord. If you could then maybe increase that to strumming just on the beat, 3, 4, without any real pattern, but get your chords in time, then great. Excellent. You're good to go. You're even more so. But of course, what else can you do that's going to really help with jamming and more specifically strumming? So there's really 2 types of strumming you'll do 95+% of the time. You're either going to strum, I'll do this on muted strings here. You're either going to strum an 8th note strum, which is down up to each beat. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's what I like to call sometimes gear 1. And then gear 2 is doubling the rate of that, 16th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's 4 to a beat. And it's not that you hit every single time when doing these strumming patterns. You miss some of them, and that's what gives you the pattern. So a very, very common pattern that will take you a long, long way, I'll do it on a G chord here, is this syncopated 8th strum that goes down, down, up, down, down. That'll be one that will really serve you well. 16th note patterns, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, that sort of pattern is doing down, down, up on beats 1, 2, and 4, and on the third beat it's missing the down on the 3 and then going up, down, up. You're either doing this down, down, up, down, down, up. You get to the third beat, you miss down, you go up, down, up, and then back to down, down, up, and together down, 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 up, up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. Now the thing is, when you get these going, you are able to then bring in sort of variations of that, and you'll find if you realize, yeah, I'm just doing this no matter what, down up to each beat, or down up to each beat, 2 to a beat or 4 to a beat. If you realize you're only ever doing one of those two things most of the time when you're strumming, then you'll be able to just make up variations of it on the spot and fit with the song. So it's a way of simplifying strumming and not thinking you've got to learn 25 patterns before you step up to jam with somebody. Now, I've got a video that takes you through 7 of the most common strumming patterns you'll find in music. These will cover most bases for you, if not all of them. So I'm going to link to that in the top right corner. Okay, so to this point in time, you've got enough to jam. You can stop the video and go jam. You don't need anything else to get started, but to get better and to be better prepared, but more so just to be able to do more things as you jam more, then we will cover some more bases here. And one of them is reading chord charts. So it's not every time you jam you're going to be reading the chord chart. Depends on the situation, but it can really, really help out. Even if you're just picking up a guitar to have a bit of an impromptu jam with some friends at a party, and someone's yelling out songs and you're finding them on your iPad and there's the charts and you're playing. Reading charts is going to be hugely beneficial for these sorts of situations. So I've got a video all about reading charts, goes into great detail. I'll link to it again below in the description and top right of this video, so you can check that out later to get more detail. But reading charts is not really that difficult to do. It's just getting through a number of them initially to get used to it. It's not like reading notated music. If you have a look at this chart here on the screen as a real brief overview, you've got the bars, which break up the song into even sections. You've got probably a time signature there. Sometimes I'll put the chords up the top of the chart, other times they won't, but you'll kind of want to know your chords anyway. You've got things that help with the navigation. You've got double bar lines, double dots, which tell you to repeat a section, or you've got sort of time bars, which tell you to repeat a section, but slightly different the second time or the third time, depending on the arrangement of the song. And you might have some strumming indications, and maybe there's the lyrics there. It depends from one chart to the next. But reading charts will really benefit you in playing situations, whatever the scenario might be. Another area to work on to be ready to jam is your timing, keeping time. Now, one of the best ways to get good at keeping time is to jam. So as I said earlier, you're good to go even if you don't think you can keep time. Doesn't matter. That's going to really be a great way to train good timing. But what can you do before you go and jam to work on your timing? Well, there's our friend the metronome, which just keeps the time for us. A little click or a beep. You can get them on your phone as an app, or you can get an actual physical metronome and you can work with the metronome. I've got a video on how to work with a metronome, strategies and methods for doing so. I'll link to that one as well, so you can check out more details. But basically, when you're jamming, you've got to be reacting and interacting with people, right? You're playing your part in time with other people, and sometimes they're going to make mistakes, sometimes you're going to make mistakes, you'll need to adjust as you go, and you've really got to be aware of all those things, and you've got to be able to keep good time. You don't want to have to babysit your hands when you're jamming, and if you can't keep time, then it's over basically. So don't panic about that. Just get in and jam and your timing will get better. But away from the jam, working with the metronome via the methods I provide in the video I'll link to. As well as that, you can just play along to songs. I used to do that all the time, still do. Play along to recorded music. It's not quite the same thing, but it will certainly help your timing, and you'll be better prepared when you then go and jam something live with other musicians. So just play to the song. You can practice not stopping with mistakes. That's a really good thing to prepare. So if you go out of time, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's fine. Just find your time again. Even if you have to stop and come back in at some point, do that. If you can sort of adjust as you're playing, then even better. But playing along with songs will help your timing as well. Okay, this last area we're going to touch on is optional, and it's soloing or improvising. So if you're not interested in doing that, it's not your thing, then disregard this. But don't disregard it because you think you can't do it, or you're not ready, or you're not good enough. Okay, if you're interested in this, then listen up. Okay, there's many times when I would jam with friends and put songs together, and the solos in the songs were just way beyond my technical ability at the time. Maybe I could play parts of the solos, but I certainly couldn't play them all, if at all. So I would improvise around that, and that really built my improvisational skills. So it was kind of just through necessity that I really started improvising, but I'm so glad I did. And you can get started with that pretty quickly. All you need is one pattern, and the pentatonic scale is the most common one that you're going to use in blues, rock, country, or all sorts of things, okay, for guitar solos. So the most common pattern, the easiest one, if you want to get started with this and be prepared for a jam, is pattern 1. And if I play it as A minor, in the key of A minor, I start it from the A root note on string 6, and this is my pattern. And back down. Okay, so it's either the 1st and 4th fingers, or 1st and 3rd. Which it is for the middle strings there, and then on the top 2, 1st and 4th, and coming back down the way I went up. That's the pattern. And if you're in the key of A minor, if the song's in the key of A minor, you can play whatever you want from that pattern, and it's going to work really nicely. Okay, so it won't matter if the chord goes to some other chord, as long as it's in the key, it's all good. It's great for blues. If the key was E minor, everyone's favorite key, then we would move it all the way up to pattern 12, and we would play it here and do our thing with the pattern up there at the 12th fret. Or if someone says, hey, we're in the key of G minor, down you go to G. Okay, now what if it's a major key? What if someone says, hey, we're in G major? What do? Well, the trick here is that any minor pentatonic scale pattern moved down 3 frets converts it to major. Someone says we're in C major. Well, if you can find the C note on the bottom string, which is at the 8th fret, and if you play pattern 1 there, it's C minor. But if you go down 3 frets, 8 minus 3 takes you to 5, and play it there, you're now in C major. Okay, so anything in C major, you play there, you'll be good. Okay, even if you just play the notes and have fun. Jamming's all about having fun, so you don't have to have any licks prepared here. You can work on that in time. Just play the notes and have fun and see what you can do on the spot. You might notice when I moved C minor down 3 frets to C major, it put it where A minor is. Well, it can be both. C major and A minor are relative to each other. If someone said we're in A minor, with pattern 1 you go to the 5th fret and away you go. If someone says we're in C major, you go to the exact same position and play the same notes, same pattern, and you'll be good to go as well. If it was E major, then you'd find E on the bottom string, that'd be E minor. We're going to move it down 3 frets, now we're in E major. Okay, so minor pentatonic, move down 3 frets, converts it to major. If you like this video, then you'll love this Acoustic Rhythm Guitar Techniques mini course. In this course, you learn 5 ways to sound much better as a rhythm guitarist, including strumming techniques, chordal picking, rhythm riffs and fills, as well as cool sounding chords and embellishments. Over the course of 5 days, you will not only be trained in depth on each of these areas of your guitar playing, but also how to put it all together to create great sounding music. So click the link in the description below this video to gain access to the Acoustic Rhythm Guitar Techniques mini course. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I love to hear from you, and a lot of the things I do cover in these videos are suggested by you. So don't be shy, drop us a line in the comments below. If you like this video, then hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the all-important notification bell button, of course, so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from AcousticGuitarLessonsOnline.net. As always, I really do appreciate the time you take to check out my videos. I hope they help you with your playing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.